F105 getting it started. That must mean it's Monday. Rachel, Rez in the chat. Brock, Andrew with me tonight. Brock, you're on the screen first. Say hi to everybody.
Hi.
Oh, Heidi's here. Brock is enthused. Hi. Andrew Fantasia joins us after a month away. Andrew.
Hey. How's it going? It's very good to be back. I am fresh off a wisdom tooth extraction, so it's been a week of salt water and pain.
And
but it's good to finally get back.
And you didn't have time to shave for us either.
No.
Automated Joy in the chat. We got a fun time coming. Brock, do you like Star Wars?
That's all right.
Yep.
I like salt water and pain, as if you like got an open cut and jumped in the ocean or something. But salt water is good for like cleaning out your like wound.
Yeah, it's apparently it's good for it. I remember even as a kid, whenever a tooth would fall out, like my mom and like she would be like, "Here, rinse with salt water," and it would help.
And that's tooth.
That's a tooth. We're live on Tooth Talk today. Molars or bicuspids? Which one is the sharper tooth?
I got my canine folk up in the chat. Give it up for some canines. What are we talking about? Star Wars.
Star Wars is back. Episode 159 was yesterday. It was our all-woman show. Brock and I took a back seat. Somehow, some way, Andrew still made his way onto the broadcast. But it was International Women's Day. Women only. Women takeover. Awesome. Thank you so much to our friends over at Girls with Sabers, Galactic Podcast, Force Toast, and of course Heidi and Rachel. And hosting it all was Aaron. So thank all of you for helping us out on International Women's Day, sharing your Star Wars stories.
Thank you, ladies. That was an awesome show.
And then of course Andrew ruined it at the very end.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, Andrew is every woman.
When I'm with you.
What is happening?
I don't know the words. She sings really fast there.
Oh, Heidi with the first gold chat of Avengers Return. Talking about Andrew's wisdom tooth being gone. Now he has no wisdom at all.
No. In fact, I'm just like, what's a Star Wars?
Heidi coming in hot with the Andrea. That's what he was known as yesterday. And Heidi's just all over. Heidi's new book is just scolding Andrew Fantasia for a living. That's what it's all about. Anyway, we are like 2 weeks away from the home digital release of Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. The 9 film saga box set is coming out at some point. I have pre-ordered my digital copy so I can watch it at midnight that night. Maybe I'll take the day after off. Probably not, but maybe I won't. I'm going to watch it at midnight. I'm going to go straight to the Praetorian Guard scene. No, I'm going to go straight to the Ben Swallow kicking butt scene. I cannot wait for it. Brock, when are you going to be getting your hands on a copy of Rise of Skywalker?
I don't know, when it comes on Disney Plus. It's like, I don't know, man. Like, I have a subscription. Isn't that enough? Isn't it enough?
No.
Because Disney Plus has deleted scenes. I can't remember.
Well, so do digital.
It would be hard if they kept that as separate. But
I know. What about you, Andrew?
I'll probably get the Blu-ray just because I'm a completionist like that. But I feel, I mean, what they've said, features-wise, trying to find the word features, what they said about the features is very scant.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. Like, I feel like they are holding out on us for something in the future, whether it's that box set or whether it's something else entirely. Extended edition, 3 hours.
Oh, God.
That would be awesome. So I'm getting it out of habit more than anything else.
They did this crap with The Force Awakens as well, where they're like, there's no features on it. And then 6 months later, they're like, here are all the features we should have put on to begin with. So it's kind of frustrating that we all know there are deleted scenes. They've been talking about these deleted scenes. In fact, some of the artists working on it just said they filmed a whole bunch of stuff with Kylo Ren and that mind blob thing, and they designed this mind blob thing, and they're like, we just didn't use it because the story needs to go faster. It's like, okay, You're not even going to show it to us. So that's
Well, there goes my holiday.
that's what I don't like. I don't like the idea that they might trick us, like, resell it down the road, or like Brock said, Disney Plus will have all the extended stuff. Well, that's great, but the people that are spending money on it now are going to spend money on it
You're a
again.
bunch of dummies. That's what's going
No,
on.
well, then maybe they don't put anything on Disney Plus too. I don't know. I mean,
whatever.
Obviously, the movie's going to be on Disney Plus, but it's just the decisions they've been making with these movies is awkward. Like the Last Jedi comes with like, here's a documentary. You're like, oh, cool. And then the rest of them, they're like, you can wait for a mediocre commentary down the road. But anyway, that's all coming out. Brock's gonna inevitably buy it because it's Star Wars and he can't live without it, and he's not gonna wait the 7 months before it hits Disney Plus. Brock, it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
All of it.
I don't get excited about watching things at home for some reason, which is not true, I guess. I watch it plus, but you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, but I've seen this. I think it's Star Wars has come. I know this is kind of rough to say because I'm part of a Star Wars podcast, but like, I don't know. I see the Marvel movies and then that's it. Like, I see them in theater, and I've for the last 7 or 8 movies, I don't buy them anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I bought anything after Iron Man, quite frankly. And I love those movies. I don't know. It's just Rogue One's probably the one that's like, yeah. I actually watched that on the weekend. I went to someone's house and they're like, here's Rogue One. I'm like, that's that thing you like. I'm like, cool. I don't know. Maybe I'm a frump.
What?
I'm a frump. It's like a grump in fra.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know, man.
Neither do I.
I don't,
You're just
like, there's nothing to be excited about.
what's
My opinion. It's like the deleted scenes on YouTube in some form. You know what I mean? Like, sell me on something that
there are no
I need
deleted
to see.
scenes.
This bog thing, the Eye of the Bog is like, that's cool. I have it in Hollow News. That sounds exciting. I would like to see that. And there's even, I think, a picture. I think it's real.
Mm-hmm.
But that would get me jazzed. I don't know, the lead scene they've been talking about so far, I'm like, meh. So I guess, like, I should really get on reading that novelization because it's out now.
No, it's not out now.
I can't remember. I asked this.
No, it comes out in like a week. Look, deleted scenes are fine. They're fun to watch, but they're usually garbage because they're deleted for a reason. Everyone thinks that there's like this gold mine of awesomeness in it. 90% of the time, deleted scenes are like, could have done without that. And I did. That's why it's not in the movie, because it bogs the movie down. It's terrible. Yeah. They're fun to watch because, you like movies and whatever, but ultimately things get cut for a reason. And that reason is craptastic. They're craptastic. They're not, most of the time they're not going to make the movie better. Every once in a while you're like, oh, that was good. Like the Lord of the Rings had some good ones, but those movies are 900 hours long. 900 hours.
Too short.
Oh God.
Yeah, like I gotta agree with Andrew in that it kills me on the inside to say that. But like the way they did that with Lord of the Rings, I'm like, it worked.
Yes, but that's one movie out of 900,000.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Andrew. They don't really. Did they make anything for Lord of the Rings movies that weren't in the books? I don't think so. Like,
I'm sure there was a couple things that they added.
Some slight changes, but you know what I mean. Yeah. Like Hobbit, they got like a little adventures on that, but like I've always said that like the Harry Potter series should be like that. Like people will eat that up. But that's not Star Wars, so it's like I know Skywalker and I defend that that's the movie they made, and now let's move on and make something new. Like, we have the Mandalorian. I think the future of Star Wars is fine. So, I'm excited for new content. I think it's like, I feel like we're twirling around in the same old. Will I watch Rise of Skywalker again? Of course.
Exactly.
Am I ready to get it? I don't know.
You're going to get it. I feel like you're going to get it.
For me, it's out of habit. Like, I agree.
Yeah.
There's nothing. I'd say with all the Disney era Star Wars movies, actually, there's never been sense of excitement for the home release like that. I've become creature of habit and be old-fashioned. I like as I download and stuff. I want, when I'm 80 years old, I want a room in my house to look like Blockbuster Video because I want to own that many physical copies of movies. So like, that's why I still do that. I like keeping the old school mentality alive. Yeah. So there's going to be a purchase, whether it's this one or whether I wait till December and see if they make another one, which they probably will. But it's not like, oh man, like a week till it comes out. It's just like, yeah, when I get it.
I can't wait for it because it is the best movie of the sequel trilogy. Okay, Andrew, go on. You have some questions to talk about. Let's do it.
Yes. All right, let's do this. So I have questions. Now, these are for Brock and James, but they're also for you. And by you, I mean people watching who are not Brock and James. Because I want to know what everybody thinks of these. Now, most of these, I've actually been hanging on to these questions since December 21st, except for one, and you'll understand why. But they're just basically about what's next. This, like, what is Star Wars now? What is the story now? And they're kind of specific, so I'll just go through them. I just have 7 ones here. We can breeze through these. They're not super complex. First one. Will we get, and we talked about this in the odds the other day, actually, will we get a comic book that's set either between 8 and 9 or after 9? If so, what would that comic be called, and what would it be about? Because we already have one that's just called Star Wars, which is, I think, a really good ongoing comic, and it does what I think great canon supplementary material should do, is fill in the blanks. That's what those comics are doing. They're just filling in the blanks. So if we get one that's, say, something after 9, what's that comic about, and what's it called?
So we are getting one after 9.
Is that like faux show?
Yeah. It's like Rey, Finn, and Poe going on adventures after she buries the sabers. That's been announced.
Ooh, I did not know
Dropping knowledge.
Dropping knowledge. What do you think it would be called, though, James?
Star Wars.
Mr. Knowledge Dropper.
Star Wars, the Skywalker saga continues.
That's not terrible.
that's the dickiest move ever.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, 8 and 9. I think it would be a definite at some point. Prior to what James said, because it's like, look what they're doing already between Empire and Return of the Jedi. It's just a matter of time. But that's way too far in the thing. I think making it happen now is smart. I don't know. I don't really want that. You know what I mean? I just want this story to end. Like, I love these characters. Don't get me wrong. Rey and BB-8 walking into the sunset or the sunrise. Yeah, I'm like, ooh, I just want to know about BB-8 and Rey. Honestly, though, if I'd rather know about what happens between 7 and 8, which they kind of already did that. Ascendancy, that kind of was interesting. I never finished that one. But what would it be called? I see it as a one-word thing. Star Wars :
They're just on a ship called the Colon, and that's the actual
Star Wars Powell. Colon Powell. And he's like a Jedi Master they found. No, I don't know. I just, my reaction is I wasn't desiring any more stories about Poe, Finn, and Rey.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's not right of me. I think I should be like, yeah, I don't know. What do you think? Do you have something in your head?
Not really. That's why
That's
I
shocking.
brought up the title thing specifically. Yeah, I was just like, title-wise, I'm like, what the heck do you call something like this? I feel my head keeps jumping to like a pun on Rey's name, like Ray of Sunshine. I don't know. I literally can't think of what they would call this, but I would want it to have some kind of snappy name to differentiate it from just the Star Wars comic book and give it some flavor, get people interested. A good name can do that. So I don't know. I don't know if it'll happen or not. Chat, let us know what you think while I move on to the second question.
Heidi wants Lando to discover Jana is his daughter.
Boo.
Oh, I think
Mando-
Jenna was.
Boring.
I think the novel pretty much confirms that. Yeah.
The last page is just Lando winking.
No, but in the novel, Lando talks about how his daughter was snatched up when she wasn't even old enough to like she was a newborn. She got taken, and yeah. Well, that was always a
I
plan.
don't know.
All right.
Yeah, that's what we need. Another absentee father. And yes,
He's not-
I know she was.
She was stolen,
Like,
and
come on.
they say that
Ugh.
the First Order stole all of the children.
Yeah, no, I understand.
No, but they went after the top dogs of the rebellion of the New Republic to get back at them for what they did to the Emperor. So they took away, like they went after Lando's kid, and they corrupted Ben Solo. So that was the point of that. And I think whether or not Jana was his daughter or not, I don't know, but it definitely feels like that was going to be the way they were going. It's Star Wars. Everyone's related. Everyone wants to argue that no one's related, but from the beginning of the thing, everyone's related. Luke and Leia, with Anakin and Vader, and like, everyone comes together. This is a soap opera.
Yeah. I'm bored for some kind of vehicle with Lando and Jana. I don't think we need it, but like I'm on board. But I don't know.
If they did it, I don't think they would be related.
Ugh.
And it's such an odd thing to just have there at the end of the movie too. I don't hate it. I don't.
No, yeah.
It's just there, and it's
makes
so
sense.
strange.
See, that's something that makes no sense because they cut something earlier on. Right? Like,
Yeah.
if you have a scene where Lando's like, my daughter was taken, and then you have that, you're like, well, okay, so he wants to get to know these stormtroopers that he knows were taken as children also. Oh, because he knows that his daughter was taken to become a stormtrooper. So, like, if you have that information out there, then you would know. But, you know, that's something that was definitely misjudged.
Mm-hmm. We'll find out sooner or later. So now for my next question here. Again, remember, I wrote these in December, people. So there might actually be an answer to this. And Brock, I'm looking at you because I know you read the new comics.
Yeah.
So if there is an answer to this, just kind of without spoiling anything, just say, read the comics, Andrew. But his question is, are we going to see the story of how Maz Kanata ended up with a Skywalker saber? If so, in what medium, and how long are we going to have to wait for it?
Why do I feel like there is something, but to answer that question now, I don't think they're doing that, but that would be. I mean, it's good. Like, it's so easy to just answer with a comic, but yeah, that would be so sweet. Like, I think though, I think I said this before. I would be very interested in seeing the Luke and Lando thing where they're dealing with like, was the Wayfinder? Because they basically find out that they did the same trip. You could fit a Maz Kanata in right there. That'd be cool. Like, oh man, that's great. Just thinking about that gets me excited. That was the question though. Do you think we're gonna see that story, or are we naming it something?
Yeah, do we think we're gonna see it, and like, will it be comic? What how are they gonna show us this?
I think that's the problem. Like because like you kind of no. Do you think Mark Hamill would do a show where he's like CG 30-year-old Mark Hamill or whatever, or 40-year-old or whatever?
I think I see Mark Hamill as a guy who would never turn down anything like exciting.
Because I think it would be easier just to animate it, and I would argue it would just be as good, especially if they voiced it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But do those older gentlemen want to do that?
Yeah, that's also true. I think like you could tell this story without Luke, depending on the method. I know.
Oh yeah, sorry.
I know it's the saber falls. God only knows who picks it up. So if push comes to shove, they could write it around Luke.
Oh yes, they are kind of dealing with that story, but it's like I don't know. I'd be surprised if Maz gets mixed in, but I don't know. I haven't read up until issue 6 of the new Star Wars. But yeah,
I think we're getting it.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna come eventually. I don't think they're clearly not rushed to get there. I think they want to. I think part of it is too this new run that they're doing that Brock is loving. It's a good run right now, but I think they have to figure once they figure that all out, then they can figure out more about that saber and then how they're going to eventually get it. There's no rush to get it in Maz's hands, right? Like there's between Empire and Force Awakens, there's 30 years, 40 years, however many years in between there. They have all the time in the world in that story universe to get there. So take your time and make it worthwhile. And maybe if you're lucky, you get Lupita Nyong'o for a Disney Plus series and you tell it that way. Or maybe the story is about something else and it ends with her retrieving the saber. And they're like, you have to sit. And maybe it's like Lord Santeca, R.I.P. Max von Sydow, by the way. But maybe it's like Lord Santeca brings it to Maz, or somebody of importance who knows about the Force brings it to Maz. Maybe it's Chirrut Imwe or somebody before they die. Wait, that wouldn't make sense because it was after. Maybe it's somebody like that, though. You know what I mean? Like somebody who was a guardian of the wills or something like that brings it to Maz and says, "You must keep this safe. When the time comes, you'll know," or something along those lines.
Oh, for sure. And just like the search for that saber would make a great plot to a season of Mandalorian or something of that ilk too. So you can do it a lot of ways.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm excited to see how they do it. And I hope they do it because you don't, Chekhov's gun, folks. You don't hold something up and say, this has an amazing story, but we'll tell you another time without actually getting to that other time. So Lucasfilm, I know you're all watching. Get on that.
By the way, we're on the wrong channel right now.
Oh,
I don't know. I signed out of this one. I signed into the other one, but we're back on this one. So shout out to the people that found us. You guys were awesome.
Yes. All right. Question 3 is a very simple one, and I think I already know what everybody's answer is going to be. Within the next 3 years, do you think Hasbro will release a Black Series of Rise of Skywalker Rey that comes with the yellow lightsaber?
Ooh.
3 years.
Why haven't they already?
That's the right
I will
answer.
say, before the movie came out, when the first Black Series came out, Aaron Quinton, our good friend Aaron Quinton, did an unboxing, and he discovered that her staff had a spot to hold a lightsaber. He discovered that on that Black Series. So they just need to sell the yellow blade. Brock, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't see why not. And yeah, it's like, why have it out? I don't know. I have a feeling like it's something like they've thought up their line or something like that. And I don't know. I'm just trying to remember, like, her outfit's not really that different in the end, is it? I can't.
No, I think it's the same. Nobody changes.
It's like, it's not really exciting. You know what I mean? I think when you said it, I was like, oh, Dark Ray. Have they done Dark Ray in Black Series?
No,
of course not. We want it.
That's a little bit more exciting. I mean, you want to be completionist and have all your different rays, but yeah, I could see that. I mean, I don't understand why they would. I don't know. I haven't really looked at a lot of the newer ones. I'm more excited about Clone Troopers than like current, like, I went to Silver Snail the other day. I was like, maybe they still have that Commander Gree, or I'm like, they did not.
I missed out on Fox and I regret it. I didn't miss out. I just was like, I can't get that now, and I wish I did.
If I find a Gree, Brock, it's yours.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm with Brock. I think they really #missed opportunities on Dark Ray Black Series before the movie came out. That should have been Force Friday right there. Something tells me though that they weren't anticipating revealing that early. That's why I think they weren't ready with it, because that's how, like, they should have had that from the get-go. Like the Funko Pop, which I have, it's awesome. And they should have that Black Series ready to go right from the get-go. No questions asked. In terms of Yellow Lightsaber, again, if they would have changed her wardrobe, I think we really would have got it. I'm surprised. You know what? When I don't know about the Black Series, but the Elite Series, which I got, they had Rey in Elite Series, and it was Scavenger Rey. Then when the movie came out, they released the exact same Scavenger Rey, but with the lightsaber. And I'm surprised
Yeah, I remember winning that one.
Yeah.
And you guys told me
don't look at it until you
'cause
watch the movie. I'm surprised they just haven't done that where you're like, you buy it, and now when you go to the store, she has the blue one, but she also has the yellow one in her staff. It's such a small change, but it's something that, Andrew, you have that Black Series, correct? The Rey?
No.
Okay.
No, I almost bought it because I was like, I love her costume, and you get Dio, which is
Yes.
cool. But I was just like, I want that yellow. That would just be the final push, and then I'd be like, yeah.
But I think if you did have it, I think we could ask Aaron, and I think Aaron Quinton would be like, I think he would even be inclined to go buy it with the yellow blade, just for that change. And I think a lot of people who bought Rey would go back to do it. And I thought that what they did with the Elite Series was a really smart move because I bought both, and I think if I didn't get the Rey, the only one I got was the second sister. But I think if I got Rey, I would still go ahead and get Rey with the yellow blade now because that's who Rey is now. So I want that Rey. I want to be up to date on it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I'm going to say, if I'm going to tell an odd here, I'm going to go 61%.
Ooh, okay. I like those odds. I think that's good. In 3 years, yeah. I mean, what else are they doing?
3 years, we might have maybe a movie.
Yeah.
What's 2020? Yeah, we may.
Maybe some High Republic Black Series as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which would be nice. And at least if we don't get the Rey, we know there's yellow lightsabers there. So I still.
But they
I still
won't make
kinda win.
no figures of anyone with a yellow blade.
Whoever has a yellow blade, they'll just make it blue.
Side Akbar, I was looking at one of the images for High Republic. I don't know if it's. I don't think it's for a book because it doesn't have a title on it. It's like a group of Jedi. And it's
Yes.
Like one in the center. And like, doesn't like the middle dude look like John Bernthal? I was like, oh wait, and I had to look at it. Sorry, I gotta plug in my laptop. Apparently, I didn't plug it in.
Oh, plug it in, plug it in.
Little air gap there.
Ooh.
There we go. Okay, cool.
All right. Okay, so let's go to this next question here. This one I actually just wrote an hour ago because I had to change something. But here's the way this works. Essentially, Star Wars has made a habit out of more or less fixing bad choices made by previous movies, previous stories. Best example I can think of off the top of my head, Darth Maul dies, and then it's like, well, maybe he didn't die because don't waste things, don't waste good characters. So we see that as a pattern a lot in Star Wars. Something kind of weird happens, whether it's a continuity issue or just a bad choice, and somebody who's kind of a more skilled storyteller comes along X amount of years later and is like, actually, let's fiddle with that. So with the current stuff that's been happening with Palpatine, how long do you think it will be before somebody comes along and says, wow, they kind of botched Palpatine's return. It's a mess, conflicting things in one book and another. How long do you think it'll be before somebody comes along and is just like, let's make a definitive canon story that tells that and essentially fixes it?
I know this isn't stirring content, but like, I don't want them to fix it. Just let it go away. Like, just done.
Yeah.
Though I really don't buy what they're talking about in the novelization. It just seems like bogus. But I want to read the novelization. Maybe there's more.
Well, it's
to
just
it.
Dark Empire what they're doing.
Like, it's just he's a ghost and he went to this thing. Like,
Well, he can't be a ghost because George Lucas said he can't be a ghost. I think part of the problem was they were like, Palpatine's the bad guy. But then they were so cautious to not take away from his death. But also George Lucas said that Sith can't be Force ghosts. So they just kind of did it in a way that didn't hopefully ruin your perception of what came before. Even though if this is all one big 9-story arc, right? If it's all part of the same story, then who cares if it undermines what happened before? Who cares if it takes away from Vader throwing him down the shaft? Who cares? Because this is the ending now, right? This is the moment where all that has to come to a head. So for me though, Andrew, I think they're done. I think this novelization puts everything for Palpatine to bed. I'm sorry, I know this is ruining your night. I think this puts Palpatine to bed. I think the fact that he was a clone, but not a clone, none of the clones were strong enough to hold the dark side force. Except for the one that was Rey's father, but it was a dumb clone or something. It was like that one in Multiplicity, that the dumb Michael Keaton clone, and Multiplicity was the only one that can handle the dark side. Yeah, I think we're done with Palpatine.
Yeah, if the novel ends up doing this, if the novel ends up kind of clarifying things in a way that makes it more satisfying than the movie did, cool. I'm still probably not going to read that novel, but just knowing that that answer is out there and some effort was put into it will give me kind of like satisfaction.
I don't hate the idea that his spirit got to Exegol and then it's just been jumping from body to body to survive. I don't hate it, but it still feels forced. It's sort of like, we want to bring Palpatine back. I'm like, okay, but why? Like, I mean, that movie has proven that you can be thrown into a bottomless canyon or chasm with energy at the bottom and come back. Like, Kylo comes back, Palpatine comes back. Han is dead, we understand, but he still is able to come back in like a mushroom trip, whatever.
I think in the novelization, I could be wrong, they said that was Leia that concocted that image of his father. Like,
feels forced too.
Everything's forced. Well, I think, look, if Carrie Fisher hadn't passed away, that whole sequence would have been played out much differently. Excuse me.
Oh yeah.
I think.
But yeah.
Yeah, Heidi says Star Wars is a soap opera, and with soap operas, crazy plot twist. That's all it really is. I'm fine. Like, I'm fine with Palpatine the way he is. I don't need an explanation. The dark side is a pathway. I was like, fine, you're not going to tell us. But then when they go, they're like, Sith magic. Oh, okay, cool.
I will say this, Andrew. If they wanted to do a story about something with Palpatine in it again, I wouldn't be against it. I know I'm a Palpatine hater, so it's like, you should take that and say thank you, Brock.
Thank you, Brock.
I think ultimately they need to, and I don't want to get anybody riled up in the chat right now, but I think they need to step aside from the Skywalker saga, focus on your High Republic, and just be like, Skywalker saga was fun, wasn't it? And let it marinate for a little while. Like I know Disney didn't think they'd have to do this when they bought Lucasfilm and Star Wars with it, but Star Wars fans hate Star Wars more than anybody. So you got to give us a little bit, and then you got to take a lot of it away for a long time. And then when you bring it back, we'll be salivating, be like, it's the best thing ever. And then eventually we will come back and hate your guts. And then you take it away from us again. You just keep us like Homer with the donuts in hell.
Oh yeah, I mean, it took a decade to bring back Darth Maul, so I'm not expecting this to happen anytime soon. But I think that something is going to come down the pipeline at one point or another, where somebody's going to be like, let's make this satisfying, as satisfying as we can possibly do it. So I think it'll happen, just not soon.
Yeah.
All right, next question, simple one. What will be the fate of Forces of Destiny? What's going on with that show, bro?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, is that still out?
I haven't heard boo about it since the second season, which was like a year and a half ago.
That's too bad. Like, Forces of Destiny was like the featurette ones, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, those little tiny ones that were like 2 minutes long. It centered on the female characters.
Yeah, and then
I really liked the animation too. It was cool.
Yeah, and like it actually added a little bit. Like they had like, oh, Hera, and she's there during the Return of the Jedi. One of the first times they mentioned that, I'm like,
like they showed Leia getting the Bouche costume. Like there was a lot of cool little stuff in there. It wasn't just side stuff.
I don't know. I don't understand sometimes. But you know what? There is a lot of like popular IP stuff that comes out on YouTube and then just gets swallowed by YouTube. I discovered, okay, I'm 34, 35, almost 36-year-old man.
Old.
I'm a big Pokemon fan. While this was starting, I was playing Pokemon Go on my phone. So if I looked like I wasn't paying attention, I wasn't. But I just found a whole bunch of like a series of things. I forget what the one was called. But there's all this stuff, and maybe people know about it, and maybe it just came out at a time I wasn't really paying attention. But I was just like, wow, how isn't this more widely known? But it isn't. I think even franchises like Star Wars or Pokemon can make this content available to people, and sometimes it just doesn't hit, right? I don't know. I would love them to bring it back.
Yeah, I want to see this again. I mean, like because it was female character centric, it just feels obvious. Like we have Jana now, we have Zori now, we have Enfys Nest now. Like we have these cool new characters, and then Avar Chris, who we don't know yet, but like we have all these cool characters that haven't translated to that show yet. Afra hasn't been on that show. Put Afra. Oh yeah. Like there's no shortage of things they can do.
Yeah.
Do you guys?
James, what do you think?
I liked it. I think I liked it. I think it was better than you'd think it would be. I think what I'll say, when I first saw it, I was like, okay, whatever, it's for kids. And I watched it, I was like, oh, that was actually, some of them were pretty darn good, and they're nice little tidbits. I think part of the problem, Andrew's gonna hate me though, is when you're like, everything's canon, then people start to like really look at it through the microscope, and it's like, shut up and enjoy this 2-minute vignette on, who cares what it's on? Hera was on thing, they're retconning it. Who cares? It's fun. It's Hera on Endor. That's great. Like, I think do it. I think doing it, like, you know, there's a Jyn Erso one was a lot of fun. I would love to see a Jana one after. Zori Bliss even would be a lot of fun. There's a lot of that they could. I think towards the end they stopped focusing primarily on the female characters and started getting more like of Finn and stuff in there too, I believe. There's so much you can do. Just fun vignettes. I think it would be brilliant of them to do that. I think even when you do the Mandalorian or something like that, you have like a short in front of it. Like, here's a short.
Ooh. Yeah.
Like throw something like that.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's good.
I think that would be amazing to do. I don't know if we'll ever get that, but yeah.
Disney Plus doesn't have Forces of Destiny, do they?
No, because it's like a YouTube. It's like they're 2-minute shows, right? I don't think it would make. I don't know. Maybe it is on there actually. Time to check it out.
Oh my god, that is genius. Imagine like they made, and they're just simple. And like for the first like 10 episodes of it, maybe it's just it's not part of Mandalorian, but you're kind of forced to watch it when you watch any Star Wars thing, any new Star Wars thing. But then you start to realize as you watch them that there is a small connection. Oh, yeah. Imagine that took off. Wow.
Star Wars Forces of Destiny is on Disney Plus. I'm
And like you're saying, Brock, like that would be so cool if like they sneak up on you with their their connection. Like you're tuning into Mandalorian, and it's like, okay, first here's another Forces of Destiny, and you're like, okay, cool, and it's friggin' about Cara Dune, and it has to do with what's going on. Like, there you go.
But that, I don't know, like I think the complication is that I feel like, I could be wrong. I feel like people on Star Wars projects, as much as they appreciate each other, they don't really talk to each other enough. So coordinating that might stifle some creativity, because it's like, well, I want to make this show, but I don't want to do it and listen to him. He's not my boss. Or unless you just create the ideas, like you have to work within this parameter. Or like the Star Wars story groups, like, okay, your series, you can do whatever you want, but at some point you're going to do this reveal. So you can jump from story to story. Oh man, that has captured my imagination. Thank you, James. Now I understand why we do this podcast. Beautiful.
There's a Kira one. And she's being chased by IG 88 or 11. I don't even know. Maybe 76. Oh no, yeah, it's Kira.
All right.
Kira's awesome.
I'm gonna jump to our final question. It's simple, but it's also not simple. Somebody shoves a pen in your hand and says, "The 2022 movie, write it."
Ha!
What are you writing?
Okay, I'll go first, Brock. I'll give you time to think. There's a poster, and it's all sand because Star Wars is always a sand planet. But you see some of the sand is like dust, right? It's like up and like in the wind. And at the top it says Star Wars, and on the bottom it says very fast, very dangerous. And it's the pod racing saga where we follow Sebulba and what happened to him after Anakin kicked his butt. No, I do want a pod racing show for real though. For me, Andrew, I'm gonna say this. Everybody hates this, but I have a dream of Star Wars that will never happen, and that is in the galaxy years, and you don't know when, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, and we see somebody walking on like a desert planet again, for real, because it's Star Wars, but it's not really. There's something off with the sand. The sand isn't. It's something off with the sand. He's walking, and they kind of trip and fall, and they go back to it, and they go back to the spot all the time. They keep going back, and eventually they dig up the spot, and they hold in their hand this lightsaber, and they bring it back to their hut, and they turn it on, and the hut glows red. You make it up from there. I have no idea where it goes, but that's what I want to happen. And but we don't know when. Is it before or after the Skywalker saga? We don't know. We don't know anything. We just know that it's Star Wars. There's a lightsaber and sand. But okay, side Akbar, it would actually be like dust that he'd be walking on, because he would be on Mustafar and it'd be like Vader's saber. But you won't find that out until the third movie, Andrew. So stop getting spoilers out of me.
Fine.
Or he's walking on like just like a land, and he finds a crossguard saber, and it's Kylo's saber, and you find out that that moon of Endor, that the water's all gone. The water's evaporated because it's been so long. Then he finds Kylo's. There's multiple ways. It could be Dooku's. I don't look. You just pick the saber you want to be, but it's red, and he's the good guy, and the good guy has a red saber. Okay, because Jedi don't exist anymore because it's been so long, and Rey's gone, and so much has happened.
I'm gonna write to Pablo and ask him to officially change the name of that moon to Kerfuff.
What is it? Kerfuffalo?
Kef beer.
Yeah, it was the same thing. Kef. I'm gonna need a beer after this.
Brock, what do you think?
Okay, I've thought about this while whatever was going on.
While James was pitching.
Okay, it's hard to write a story that they haven't sort of done somewhat, so we're just gonna stick with like a trope that's easy. Young kid lives in a nothing. I'm envisioning a jungle planet, maybe not a wild jungle planet. There's cities and all that. It's not Endor, but it's civilized. But then it's generally a jungle planet. Think Kashyyyk, but maybe not tree houses, right? This kid, he's like, what am I gonna do with my life? I don't like being on this planet, or maybe he likes being on the planet. I don't know, but he likes to go in the jungle. And one day, somehow, through some turn of events, he finds a ship. It's been there for years. Sorry, he finds it. No one knows it's there. But it's been clearly there for years, covered stuff. It's the Millennium Falcon. And then you just start a story. I think I said this before. It's like, it would be awesome to be the Falcon is sort of always there. Perhaps he opens it, and that's how we get a little bit of what happened after Rise of Skywalker. I don't think we need to go there, but like it's just the idea in my head. And then he just goes on an adventure, and then perhaps it's some journey has nothing to do with really anything. Maybe completing a mission for Poe, or Finn, or Rey, or Chewbacca for that matter. And we find out maybe it's 300 years in the future, and everyone's just gone, right? He finished, and then the movie ends. He's completed this mission. He's like, I've become the person I've always desired to be. I left my planet, and I made something of myself. And then a silhouette walks into screen and says something. It's like, finally, the Falcon returns, and then you just see red lightsaber, and then end. Boom. That's nothing. It's not really anything. It's a possibility. It doesn't have to be. I think I said a boy. It could be a girl. Whatever. It could be an alien. It could be like whatever you want to be. Switch it up. Doesn't matter. We'll find it endearing either way. That's what it could be. As it's a new story, but then you see somewhat of a connection. I don't know. I'm really interested in going on an adventure where they look for artifacts or something. So that's a way to like bring in the old movie, and then perhaps he goes and he or she finds something that's I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know.
I love these ideas, guys. I love both of these ideas. These are really cool. I'm gonna on channel. I'm gonna share it with everybody. I'm gonna show it to everybody. That's crap. I'll be too embarrassed. But back in January, I just started just for fun, writing a script just to see what I could do, just playing with this idea. And what I ended up with, it's only I only have 15 pages, so God knows if I'll ever finish it. Where the conflict is not between armies, but it's between two very wealthy families, rival houses, like the Capulets and the Montagues kind of thing, but with no star-crossed romance kind of going on. So that's where your wars of Star Wars comes in.
Yeah.
And they hate each other, and we follow the two teenage daughters of this one house, and they're on their ship with their mom, and their ship, and they're about to go back to their home planet and go to this important thing that they have to do on their planet, and then their ship gets attacked by pirates. And the ship gets all blown up and destroyed and stuff, and the two teenage girls and their security droid, get to an escape pod, and they leave. And the pod crash lands on a planet, and the girls have no idea where they are. So it's all trying to get back home. And then meanwhile, from the other house who are looking for them, because it turns out, spoilers, those enemies orchestrated the attack on their ship. They hired the pirates. And one of the two girls can't walk. She's in a hover wheelchair, whatever, and that gets destroyed in the fight. So for the whole movie, I have the droid kind of carrying her on his back, like C-3PO. So they're I just thought it was a cool image. This girl, and she's shooting people and stuff, but she's on the back of this droid, and he's shooting people too. I just thought that'd be neat. But yeah, that's where my head went.
Nice.
Right.
I'd watch it. I'd watch all these ideas. I would just watch Star Wars.
Yeah, I would watch all three. Yeah.
We just need more Star Wars. They need to get their act together and make sure these movies actually happen for us, because I want to watch them in the theater, because I don't go to theater often, but when I do, it's for Star Wars.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of fun if they did a series of movies like the Avengers did, where you have one-off characters and then they all come together. Maybe that's spring, but I don't hate it.
Well, imagine if we had imagine if every character from that Mandalorian episode was somebody that we knew beforehand. The one where they go into the New Republic ship and they break out the guy from jail. Imagine if we knew all those people from this guy's from this book, this guy's from this comic, and then they all hooked up just for that one episode. That would be cool. And that was already a great episode.
Yeah, I think as they start to get their feet wet, we'll get more of that. I think that's one thing. I think they missed. I think they kind of missed the boat on all that when they brought Star Wars back, was how fans will flock to whatever you give us and absorb it, and everything you give us we'll take to heart. So if you write a character in a novel like Ray Sloan, throw that character in some form of live action and we will eat it up, because we go for that. And I think they missed the mark on that, but I think they've slowly realized, and the further they get away from the Skywalkers, the sooner we'll get to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ugh. The Mandalorian, though. Great
Season 2 in October. Just finished wrapping. Brock and I will talk about that in episode 160 of the Rebel Scum podcast, coming to you on Wednesday this week. If you have not had a chance to watch episode 159, which came out yesterday, March 8th, International Women's Day. It's a very special episode. Brock and I, we don't even show our. We have nothing to say on that one. We and the critics are saying it is the best episode of the Rebel Scum podcast to date. It features some of the best, brilliant, brightest minds in Star Wars fandom today. So if you can go over 159, check that out, give it a watch, share it with your friends, tell everybody about it. That would be awesome. Again, Wednesday, Brock and I return to ruin Star Wars, talking Mandalorian Season 2. What is going to be happening? But that's it. We're going to wrap this show up now. What you're hearing is Din F-105 Rebel Girl. That's where it's going. Brock, any last words for the show?
The coronavirus couldn't keep us down.
Yeah, we're all Skyping from I'm Skyping from a Purell factory.
We're all in separate locations, but we will not be shut down. South by Southwest went down, but we prevail.
Andrew?
I'm just going to echo Brock's sentiment and say it's nice to be back on the live stream, man. I missed it. It's been a long month, so it's good to be back.
Speaking of echoes, are you watching the Clone Wars?
Hell yeah. I think that the last one was the weakest of the three, just because I feel like after 7 years of the show, being a whole show just based around clones shooting droids, it's like, okay, we get it. This happened a lot during the war. But I like the arc. I'm just looking forward to the meat because we know the meat is coming.
The meat's not coming for another, I think 5 weeks. So you have a month to wait. You're going to have to. But it's been awesome. Thanks, guys, for watching. Thank everybody in the chat. You made tonight amazing. Thanks for finding us on the wrong channel. And until next time, may the force of others be with you.
Always. Hi, Charlie.